What's up, everybody? Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. Waiting to see if anybody wants to roll in here for a second. What's up, Jesse? What's up, Anakin Moon? Just trying to prepare my mind for all the fuckery that's in store. What's up, Leah? Hopefully your truck is doing a little bit better. Golden Boy, what's up? So anyway, let's see. Diabetic trucker been out of the game for a few months. Got mouth cancer. Man, I am sorry to hear that. All right, Blue 9417, 7 months left in his Pete, and then it's going to be paid off. Those are the longest months ever. I think the longest months, like when I had 3 months left, it seemed like every week it just never seemed to be moving. But finally you get there and everything is gravy. Diabetic trucker, my truck caught on fire in Charleston, West Virginia. So I'm planning on heading back. Man, I keep thinking between Sunday and Tuesday, but man, I'm just going to have to be like Tuesday. I can't see trying to leave out any earlier. I mean, I'm trying to talk myself into not staying home even longer, to be honest with you. But it's been about 30 days, you know what I mean? So I figure it's time to get back up. Let's see. Interstate. What's my next move? I'm probably just going to do some regular leases. I don't want to be tied down. If my work horizon was a little bit longer, I would probably put down some money and get another, just lease another truck. But I just don't see me. I don't want to be tied down to that. You know what I mean? Once you start getting to be almost 60 years old, anything could take you out. It could be a physical. It could be anything. So I just don't want to have to be really stuck. And selling these trucks is not the easiest thing in the world. So this situation just happened. Might have been a blessing in disguise. So anyway, I'm just going to do some short leases. I'm trying to talk myself into doing the shortest lease, the one that makes the most sense possible. I just can't see me getting in a Freightliner, so I might have to. A little emotion is going to have to come through. I mean, I'm not sure I could do a Freightliner, so we'll see. I'm willing to do, as long as maybe I thought about it, a 2-year lease if it's like the right truck. But shorter would be better. All right, so that's my next move. I've kind of been all over the place. I mean, it wouldn't be beyond me to just get up there and just. Well, see, the problem, another reason why I wouldn't do a regular or a lease purchase on a truck is I wouldn't be able to order it. Now, if somebody had ordered a prime, disc brakes are super important to me if I'm gonna be owning it. I mean, I really don't even want to get one that doesn't have it all the way around. But it's not as important if I'm just doing a regular lease. But if there was one that had that in it, I might consider that. But I don't think I'm gonna do it. I'm all over the place. My brain is not functioning right. Let's see. Thinking about getting one more. Thinking about getting one more truck through Prime. Prime has some. I mean, listen. It's gonna be. I'm having to look at this as a total picture, because to me, doing a regular lease kind of rubs me. It doesn't rub me the wrong way. Obviously, I'm the one making the decision, but it kind of doesn't hit the way I really like it to hit. But if I have to look at it as a whole, so I have to look at it like, okay, this money that's coming to me is getting infused in the way it is, and then I just have to look at this in reverse. So I got the money for the insurance payout. Then when I'm done with the lease, then I get that lease completion bonus. And it's kind of accomplishing the same thing as my previous truck did, just a little bit different. So anyway, Blue, if you're thinking about getting a truck through Prime, one more truck through Prime, I'd get as many. I mean, I think Prime has I don't know about this pedigree and all the shit that they're selling up there, but as far as the lease purchase, I don't think you could get a better deal on a truck if you just get a brand new lease purchase through Prime. All right, Donna, appreciate the sub. That's what I would do, just a standard lease. Like I said, if my work horizon was closer to 6 years, I would probably just lease a truck and then try to run it for the 3 years and deal with it like that. I'm just not sure I'm gonna be around 6 years from now. Slime packs in the hazy for Sheezy. What's going on? Smart move. Rusty said the walk away is best for me. There's advantages to everything. I mean, it does kind of make me feel, like I said, some kind of way to be making all them payments and then just come out at the end of it with 20, 30. I mean, I don't even know what the average lease completion bonus is for a solo driver, but it kind of makes, like I said, I have to look at this in whole. What happened with my last truck, bring that over with, I got to combine the two, because if I just look at doing a regular lease for me, I don't think it really would. It might accomplish what I want, but I don't think it would be what I want. But everybody has what works out best for them. Oh, and I think Diabetic Trucker asked what happened. My truck, I think I already mentioned that. Truck caught on fire in West Virginia. That check should be here tomorrow or the next day. So I'll be happy for that and throw some of that money into the market as well. All right, let's see. All right, somebody asking Slime Pack if she's buying a truck. Gilbert, man, truck just caught on fire. I wasn't really trying to cook or nothing crazy like that. It just happened, man. And it happened. I'm glad it happened where it happened. I mean, considering where I could have been when this stuff happened, it could have been a much worse scenario right there. Well, let's see. But listen, that check does ease the pain a bit. And again, even though I was about 2.5 years out, or I forget when I was going to have to pull my truck off of Prime's fleet, I was already stressing out about selling that truck, and I was like years away. So that does help me from that aspect. Oh, I did just buy some stock today. It's kind of a little flyer stock. It's not that expensive, but I figured I forget what the ticker symbol was, but with all this bullshit going on with automated trucks and, driverless taxis and all that kind of shit, there's a company that provides some of that technology and those chips for those companies. So I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and buy up some of that. So I did that. Actually, I did it a couple days ago. All right. I did, man. And Gilbert, the funny thing about it is I had just bought about I'd bought a bunch of fucking popcorn before I left. There might have been when I ordered them, I thought when you ordered the box, I was confused about how you ordered the boxes. So when I ordered them, like 3 times as much popcorn came as I was expecting. So I probably had 60 bags of popcorn on my truck when all that happened. So that went to waste. And you know what? Another thing I got to go buy. You think about all this random stuff that you keep in your truck. A back scratcher. Have you ever tried to like get a back itch and not be able to get rid of it? That shit's the worst. So I gotta get one of those again. Left that in there. All right. Leah, I think that's the right move, but that's just my opinion. Leah, you did the right move getting your lease purchased. I might be doing the right move doing what I'm doing, but in your position, outside of your truck having issues, you did the right thing. Trust me, 3 years from now, you will be extremely happy about that. All right, we already mentioned how my truck got on fire. It just caught on fire. All right. Well, we will see what Slime Pack is doing in August. Leah, now this is one of the things that I was excited about getting into regular leases. 2 things, kind of really. So the lease completion bonus, no matter how big or small it is, that is what it is. But the 59 days off between leases, that is awesome right there. So definitely going to be hitting them up on that. Another thing that I like about not doing I guess if I was going to order another truck before I really got into this kind of retirement mode, I was going to order another truck and I was just going to leave it plain. You know what I mean? Like no graphics, no nothing. Just it was going to be white with just truck number, whatever, minimum shit on it. So getting a truck through Success Leasing, who I spoke with earlier today, they called me. It'll be nice sometimes you just feel like if you fuck up something, you got not all eyes on you, but you're recognizable. So if you do some dumb shit, they're going to see that truck. And, if they post it up, somebody could see it. Like one of my drivers one time fucked around and went around a corner and wasn't watching the trailer. And basically had to get the trailer pulled out of the ditch. And somebody posted it on Facebook, but I could see it because I knew I was looking for it, but you could barely see my logo on the side of that truck. And I didn't tell the driver that it was, that it was posted, any of that kind of stuff. One person on that thread said, "Is that No Hippies truck?" And I didn't say anything about it. So it will be nice to be a little bit more incognito again. So I'm kind of looking forward to that a little bit. Okay, so Leah got 14K after 3 years, all solo. If you train and run up the miles, the bonus grows. First of all, Leah, I wouldn't get 15,000 or 14,000 or whatever you got because I'm not staying out there fucking 6 months and shit like that. Secondly, I'm not going to be training nobody. I mean, never say never. I said I was never going to do that last time when my trainer got on my truck, but I don't see it happening. So if you got 15,000, let's say 14,000, I'm hearing things between 12 and 15,000. If you just take 14,000 and take like 20% off of that and amortize that across however many months I'm there, that's probably about what I'd be at. 20% less. All right. What's up? Afro from Salt Lake City. What's the news and what we sipping on today? Well, I'm trying to get through everything that I have out here because it's gonna be time to get dry here pretty soon. But today we are on some Maker's Mark cask. This isn't the normal shit like you see at the bar. This is Maker's Mark cask strength bourbon. We're looking at 109 proof. This is aged 7 years and 1 month old. So that's kind of what I pulled out today. Just a little sipping. I can't drink like I used to drink before I got into trucking. It was a whole different story. I could really drink, but I just don't have it the same way I used to have it. So I'm just more of a sipper than I am a really drinker. All right, let's see where are we at. But it is still, I'm still missing that one that I got last time I was home, and early when I got home this time. That bourbon that I had that was finished in maple, fireball, and vanilla barrels or something like that. All right, so that's what I'm on today. I just pushed my PTA back for the third time. I'm not ready to leave. Man, I can feel that. Got a new house. Don't want to leave the fucking house. I understand. Have one for me. It's my birthday today. Leah, happy birthday. I talked to Leah yesterday. I was like, she's up at Springfield now getting some work done on her truck. I was like, you're going to fuck around and I'm going to be up there when you're up there. But I did just decide to take my own car up there this time. So I'm just bringing too much shit to take a rental, and I'm not trying to pull everything into a hotel room and do all that. So I'm just going to drive my own car up there. Plus, I'll probably be up there maybe, let's say, a week, maybe. So I'll at least have some wheels when I'm up there. And then I'll drive it back home when I'm done with this run, and then I'll take a rental car back when I'm ready to come off of home time that next time. All right, Leah, have fun watching the show. I'll check you out later. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna take my own car up there. I just got new tires on it. The tires weren't bad. They were right at legal for a car. I would have drove that thing literally. If I didn't have to go to Salt Lake, or not Salt Lake, if I didn't have to go to Springfield, I would literally run those tires about it. I'd probably run them another year. They probably would have been good for that long minimum. Just driving around here a little bit. So that's the deal. I'm just trying to find the motivation to do all the shit that I need to do. Like, I need to cut my hair back. I'll probably do that maybe tomorrow, the next day, shave, all that kind of shit. And then I got one bag of clothes packed up. I'm going to start loading the car every time I leave the house. I'm going to throw a bag out there just so I don't have to do it all at the same time. All right. 9417 has a 22P that'll be paid off in January. How long can it run on the fleet? This I don't necessarily know, because I don't know if they run it from the time your truck went in service, or blanket like all 22s have to be off a fleet at this particular time. I know that I had at least till like June of, was it maybe June of 29? Anyway, 2.5 years, whatever that would have been kind of right around. Well, my months are fucked up now. Let me see. So 2 more years would be, let's just start from January. So 2 years would be all 27, all 28. So like January of 20, not January, like June of 28th, I was gonna have to pull it off. D-trucking, the 30 days doesn't really count in this situation, My fleet manager just said, man, just keep us in the loop. Because I told him, if it's going to be a problem, just let me know. Because I'll take fucking 6 months off, like right now, if it's going to be a problem. So I didn't want it to be like, well, we can't do it. And if it becomes a problem, I'll turn right back around and just be like, okay, I guess technically I would have to resign at that point and then just come back in 6 months or whatever. But yeah, 30 days shouldn't be a problem. All right, Will Smith, what happened? I'm a truck driver and my truck caught on fire in rush hour traffic going through Charleston, West Virginia. Let's see. It took me 1 month to get my appointment for my CLP. Finally headed to Springfield the next week. I'll be ready to be your trainee soon. Man, listen, you don't want me to be your trainer. I'm telling you. Now, there are some of these guys. Listen, ask anybody I've trained with. That truck does not stop until we are where we're at. It's a flaw of mine. I've eased up a little bit, but yeah, it's not like we're both going to sleep between, we're going to run for 8 hours and then sleep for 4 without the truck moving. No, that truck is like in motion 100% of the time until we get where we're getting. And then instead of taking little bullshit breaks, we got a big fucking break. So, but I have been a little easier. The last few trainees, I've kind of shifted my clock to where I'm driving more nights and everything because a lot of my people I was kind of driving with had solar power tendencies. And that's the thing I'm afraid of, is somebody falling asleep. All right, we already got that. Burner D, the trucker, what's up, man? I'm just preparing my mind for all this fuckery I'm about to get into. I'm thinking I'm going to leave. Can anybody tell me in this chat, if you're a Prime, what time is the check-in for a bunk room? Because I think I might do and save a little bit of money on that first night rent, or not rent. The first night paying for that hotel. I might get a bunk room that day and then get into a hotel room the next day after that. So that'll save me a little bit of money. Plus, it'll be close to everywhere that I need to see anyway. Fleet managers, success leasing, all that stuff. Yeah, I thought it was 0730, but then I think it was like 10 or something. I'm. All right, Ricochet, did I see a Pete I can lease? I didn't really look at it yet. Just thinking back to when I got my first truck way back in the day, the gray Peterbilt. That website was not really up to date. It might have been the day of, but certainly not much more than that. So I'll go in there, see what they have. They did call me today. So they just said, hey, we got a call from First Guard Insurance. And, first of all, I'd like to say that I'm sorry. And just wanted to confirm that we're going to be dropping the insurance on this. Or I forgot what it was. So it did get totaled, right? Yes. Okay, we'll be dropping that insurance. And, so I just told her, not that it was even necessary. I'll be up there mid next week to get looking at a truck. And then I don't know if people that have leased before get preferential treatment or what the situation is, but I will be up there. So whoever said they were going to be up there, let's see, 6873 said he's going to be up at Springfield in the next week. You might see me up there. What color International are you going to pick? That I would probably take a 10-year lease purchase on a Peterbilt before I get a Freightliner. I've only talked to one person that actually, I don't know, I wouldn't even say he liked it. He just tolerated it, but he didn't get another one after that. I've never seen anybody that's like, you know what, that International is like the truck I want. Now, there was a time that I did see some Internationals on Success Leasing, not Success Leasing, Pedigree for $23,000. I think I might learn to love International $23,000 with a longer warranty. I forgot what happened with those trucks, but I could see doing that. Tim Travels, I was taking a nap when you called me back. I'm like, I'm not as motivated with you as you when I'm like at home. I'll take a nap on your ass. I'm not up there, going around seeing all the sights and all that shit. Checkout is at 07, and I think check-in is at 10 or 11. Slime pack, that's what I recall. I think it's 10 because there was that long gap between. Yeah. Thank you. I think that was correct. All right. 6873. I hope to have a trainer who will prepare me to have a successful future. A lot of that shit is going to be on you more than the trainer. I mean, I was lucky enough to have a trainer, who I was lucky enough to ride back on. He got back on my truck last summer, but he did. I would say that most of it's on you, but there's one day that I can remember. I was in Washington and I'd already done my miles and all this shit. And we delivered I delivered in Seattle. I went and found a place to park, and we had this is like 10 o'clock in the morning, maybe somewhere around there. And we got a load that was going to pick up at like 3 p.m. the next day. I remember saying, man, looks like we're going to get some of that good relaxation time. And he's like, Lyle, we don't do no windows. And that's always stuck with me. Get there as soon as you can fucking get there. Like, it didn't matter what that appointment could have been 3 days down the road, and it's always get there. Like sales, when I was in sales, they were always saying the ABCs always be closing, and trucking is ABDs always be driving. So that is one thing I can literally say from that I picked up from my trainer. And I was just talking to him the other day, and he was saying, you know what, I've kind of learned to change up my training a little bit based on kind of how we team together. So you're always going to learn something new out here. All right, let's see. Pedigree has 41,000 is too much money for me to get a freight or International though. All right, let's. But here's what I will say: 6873. If you get a trainer out there now, and I'm saying truly, it's a bad trainer. Cut your losses earlier than later, unless you think you can make your way through it. And I'm not talking about, the trainer made me mad or, whatever, but if they're not teaching you anything, you're not getting a chance to back up. You're not like my first trainer. He wouldn't even let me go in, and it only lasted a short while before that blew up, but wouldn't let me walk into the shippers or receivers. Never backed up anything. And there was time. So sometimes you ain't gonna have time, but couldn't use this as an excuse. It was just filthy as fuck. Like, listen, I was in the Marines. I was in the Marines in the 80s in South Korea, all that stuff. Like a bunch of bullshit places. And I could tell you that the filth in that truck was worse than anything that I dealt with out in the field in those kind of situations. Worse than fucking, Gulf Wars and all that kind of stuff. It was nasty. Have you seen them like mattresses that are kind of like white? They're not the gel ones and all that stuff. They're just white, right? And that shit was all like frayed up, and there was like yellow spots. Oh god, I can't even believe I put up with it. To be honest with you, but man, hopefully you have a good trainer. One thing I never did was I never went into a training situation and said, these are all my rules. You know what I'm saying? Because that just sets things. I mean, it's good to know the rules, but I think a lot of times you're saying a bunch of rules that don't necessarily apply to that person. So you're basically wasting a lot of breath, and you might be turning somebody off a little bit. So a lot of the stuff was just, they weren't rules, because I don't think there was like, every student was different. There were some people that I didn't have to say, like, I'm not going to get on there and say, we don't, I don't want you playing no games or, no video games or none of that shit to every fucking student, if every student's not going to do it. So, the one guy that played the video games, I said right off the bat, you know what? I just mentioned it. You might want to get some rest when you have a chance to get some rest. That video game's going to keep you from doing that. I said, we'll see. Never had to say anything else about it. I mean, he kept playing it every now and then before we got in the groove. But once he realized how much we were going to be running, sleep became a lot more important to him. So I don't think he played any video games more than that first 7-10 days, something like that. So why am I going to say that to every single student? And then I get my old trainer. He comes on my truck basically so I could train him. And he plays video games all the time, but I know he knows what's up. So you know what I mean? So everything's different. I didn't go in there with no whole list of shit. I'm not going to be like, you know what? This is mine. I tell everybody whatever's in this truck, you have full access to, all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to say clean up. I'm not going to say anything. I figure if I pull out my little shit and start cleaning stuff up, nobody's going to be that dumb to just sit in the passenger seat while I'm cleaning up everything. So that's I kind of do it by example. You know what I mean? Anyway, that was more talking than I needed to do. I will have the same fleet manager, Afro. Jenna, what's going on? Jenna, the funniest thing she said was, because I would mention, shit, I wouldn't mind driving for somebody's little, private fleet or something like that. Obviously, I know I'm not going to drive enough to make that truck profitable. But she said something like, wow, we'll let you drive our Peterbilt if you guarantee you'll catch it on fire or something like that. I thought that was hilarious. All right, I might see you next week. I'm on home time now, but wanted to go to Springfield to get a new windshield and the new shots. Normally, I would say you'd be able to see me in Springfield driving around with my truck and all that kind of stuff. People would kind of notice me like that. But if you happen to see me driving around in the soccer mom car, that's going to be me. It's going to be the Audi all-road wagon. All right, what bourbon am I sipping on? I am on this. I pulled out this Maker's Mark cask strength 7-year, 1-month bourbon coming in at 109 proof. Definitely a lot better than that bullshit you get at the bar, that 90 proof bullshit that is really not aged all that well. This stuff is good. But I'm really not trying to drink all that much, but the best soda on earth. Now there's some of them other sodas that are the best diet soda. Let me say it. They do got them like nice little pineapple ones that you can find at like the Mexican stores and stuff like that. Those are probably the best, but let's just say normal sodas, nothing beats a squirt. All right. All right, 4397s in Syria. What's up? All right, we already talked about pedigree with the 41,000. We talked about my bourbon, my fleet manager. What color is it? Now, I'm not sure if you're asking what color my all-road wagon is, this is gray. Okay, so I'm answering a different question. Uh, okay, all right, I got confused with all these questions. A few Peterbilts. I saw the Peterbilts, and actually, I saw a Peterbilt on there that was a year newer, and was it a year? Yeah, a year newer, and they were asking right about what my check was coming in at. I was like, man, hoping I don't get screwed on this insurance check, but everything came in kind of what I was thinking. Let's see. Dale Robertson. I was able to keep my fleet manager. As a matter of fact, we kind of spoke the other day once I kind of told him, I plan on leaving at this time. Is it going to be a problem? Because if it's going to be a problem, I'll just stay home for like 5-6 months and then I'll come back. No, it'll be fine. Just come on up here. It's like, okay. Because I was not trying to get rushed out of it. And then I tweaked my arm. Man, I don't know if when that fire caught on, if I was like hopping in and out of that truck like super fast because I was trying to get a lot of shit out of there. But I noticed that my shoulder had hurt like that night. So this is almost a month ago, and it's still like hurting quite a bit. I don't know if I could get a Volvo, man. Sometimes you just get used to what you get used to. That's more or less why I'm sticking with like the Peterbilts. So let me put it this way. I will choose a Volvo before I choose a Freightliner, if that's like, but every Volvo I see got one panel that's shaking driving down the road. I don't know. Just the stigma that goes along with it. Am I going to get out with my flip-flops on? All right, Pete Gang, nothing like it. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if Slime Pack's in here or not, but man, what I was going to do the last time I came home, but I decided not to put my truck in the shop, was I was going to get that lip replaced on the front of the Peterbilt that almost every Peterbilt has broken off of it. I was going to get that replaced, plus that windscreen thing next to the windshield that had blown off when I was driving through some high winds. I was going to get that done, and then I was going to get another oil change done because I started getting my oil changes done like every 30,000, 35,000 miles, all that kind of stuff. So I was going to spend a bunch of money when I was here last time, but I was just like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and get it next time I get home. Man, I could have put all that. I mean, it was bad enough when it caught on fire. I lost a full tank of fuel. So I did save some money not doing that. See, the turn radius on the Volvo is heaven. Yeah, you know what? But that having a Peterbilt has helped me learn how to back up a lot better, or faster, I should say, or different ways, and teach my students different ways. Like in a Peterbilt, I'd like to tell them, don't make any hard right turns. You'll pull out that airline a lot of times. So it makes you think about things a little bit different. I'm not sure I would like to blindside in a Peterbilt. Again, some people, it doesn't matter. They have their hoses where they're probably either going to get crushed or snapped or something. My airline is like maybe this high off of my catwalk. I see some people that have it dragging, but if you're making a hard right turn and you're really turning it, it puts so much stress on that airline and I've seen people like do that, and it was like in cold weather and they snapped the airline. It wasn't the rubber ones. It was that bullshit plastic. But I just prefer not to make hard right turns in it anyway. Now, sometimes there have been 2 times that I've been driving that I really wished I had a Freightliner. One one, I just couldn't get in this dock. And I was trying so many different ways that nobody that was in the docks was like, he can't back up, because I was trying to back around the building and do all kinds of shit. Just wasn't enough room. There's a trailer parked in front of mine. I was missing it by like maybe 2 inches. If I had a Freightliner, I'd have been able to knock that out. And then there was another one. I don't remember exactly when that was, but there have been a couple times when I wished I had a Freightliner or a Volvo, whatever. I've blindsided once. And once I knew what I was doing, I realized I didn't have to do it that one time. I read a bunch of reviews and they're like, you're going to have to blindside. You're going to have to do that. You're going to have to do this. Not one time have I had to do it. There was one place was in Boston or New Jersey. I forget where the fuck it was. It was somewhere where I didn't want to be. Let's just say Northeast. I think it was New Jersey. And true, if you did go into the shipping place the way you were supposed to go in there, you were going to have to blindside. I went around the block, came up a one-way street the wrong way, and I was able to back in off the street properly rather than having to blindside it. So I've always found a way not to do it. I've driven everything but Pete, and well, these new little midget ass Pete's out there, them 26s or 27s, whichever the ones are the shorter ones, you could probably do everything you could do in a Freightliner in one of those. Those little short ass, like, sawed off Peterbilts. I mean, you could probably do everything in that. After driving a Volvo, I'm sold on them. I know somebody that did a regular lease of Prime and they leased a Volvo, and then they got a Peterbilt, and he said that there was a couple things he liked, a couple things he didn't like. He liked the fuel economy in the Peterbilt. I think he might have liked the storage. I don't know. He was happy with his decision, but there were certainly things he liked about the Volvo. At the end of the day, it's a truck is a truck, but I'm going to tell you, the main thing that made me way back in the day say, I want a Peterbilt was my first trainer had a Peterbilt. So for that little short time we were together, I got used to that Peterbilt as far as the driving and all that kind of stuff goes. Got with my second trainer, who I spent all that time on his truck. We were driving in California in a construction zone. I hit a pothole and it almost bounced me into the Jersey barrier, whatever that thing that was. And I asked him if there was something wrong with the truck, and he said, no, there's nothing wrong with it. And then I kept driving it, and it kept the ride was just more than being uncomfortable. It was just dangerous. And, one of the reasons people are like, well, why are you so against the shorter Peterbilts that are coming out? I think a longer wheelbase does you better in the wintertime. I don't know. I hear that the new Peterbilts, even the short ones, drive good. So I don't know, but that was the first thing he said, okay, I don't want to deal with this all the time. All right. I'm just going to call him our logistics. Volvo have too many safety shit. I've never even opened up a Volvo door. What happened to the Peruvian trucker, man? I'm trying to find his channel on YouTube, but I can't find it. Peruvian trucker, man. He was on his way out to Colorado last week, and a car passed him up. And I don't know if the car kicked something up or what, but it shattered his driver's side window. I drive a lot with my window down. Whatever that was might have hit me in the fucking face. I don't know, but it shattered his whole window. So he was just out here last week. He had to get his truck or his window replaced and everything. But I just think he's just doing his thing. I don't know if he's really too concerned about YouTube right now. I did, man, if I didn't delete his message, I mean, I just deleted it and cleared everything out yesterday. I'd have just shown you guys that video. It wasn't much to see. I couldn't tell what hit his truck or anything. He handled it better than most people because a lot of people might have jerked the steering wheel or did something, but he kind of, held that shit steady. And it wasn't just like a little bit of like, it was like what it looked like was somebody shot out his window is what it really looked like. Flavor by the mile, what's up? I'm gonna get one more of them little stretch class things or stretch things done before I get back out on the road, but I need to hit that like next time I'm on home time. I really need to hit that like at least every other day. If I'm here for close to a month or something, maybe if I'm here for 2 weeks, hit it like 10 days, something like that. I would suggest that to anybody out there. I wish I'd have done it a whole lot sooner. And Peruvian trucker got him a little girlfriend now too, so you know how that is. That young love will have you tripping. So yeah, I do need to go to the company store and pick up my jacket. I'm just gonna sign that jacket maybe and give that shit to like my payroll manager. I am gonna stop by the chiropractor when I'm there. Diabetic trucker, yeah, my truck was paid off. It had been paid off for about a year and about a year and 4 months, something like that. So I ran up some good money on that for that year and 4 months, and then, like I said, that insurance check did help ease the pain. Well, it hasn't eased the pain yet. It's on the way. Then it'll ease the pain. And you know what I was kind of thinking, before, last time I was on home time, I'd been thinking about a bunch of different things I was gonna do. Let me get to this comment first. Nothing like having a paid off truck, knowing what I know now. Yeah, in essence, this is the same thing though. The money that's coming, in essence, I will still have a payment. But this money, first of all, well, let me talk about what my thoughts were because it kind of leads in together. So I'd been thinking, okay, I can only stay on Prime's fleet for this long. I want to be around to get this money that Success Leasing has sitting around for us, all that kind of stuff. So the person that bought my last truck, he was like telling me, hey, I might be interested in buying your truck. I was like, all right, cool. We start talking about it. He's like, well, I'm not sure when I'll be ready, but how much time do you need? And I said, well, I just need time to order another truck and all this kind of stuff. So just give me like 4 months headway. So he's like, okay. So we'd been talking about him buying that truck within the next, 6-8 months. So when my wife said, you know what, it might be time for you to come off the road for good or whatever, then I kind of changed to go to kind of more retirement mode and stuff like that. So I'd been speaking about this way, shit, I don't remember when I started talking, like at least 2 months ago, way before this shit happened. So my philosophy had already changed on that. So at that point, what I was going to do was run my truck at prime for the next 2 years or 2.5 years, whatever I had left, 2 years and a couple months. Then I was going to take it off of Prime's fleet and run it under Swift or, whoever I could just run a truck through just to get me a few more years out of that truck. Then I was going to have to deal with selling it. At that point, it really wouldn't be worth much, but really this, I'm not going to say it's a blessing in disguise, but it does what I wanted it to do, just a little bit differently. It gives me a bunch of money up front. It gives me money up front to kind of put in the market to kind of get me, get more into the stock market earlier than kind of later down the road. Plus, I'd been saving up this. I'd already put 20, not quite 20. I had $50,000 in my emergency fund when this happened. Right before it happened, I told my payroll lady, send over $30,000 to my, just pay me out on that. Whatever, I was going to invest that $30,000 into the market, do all this kind of stuff. Then that shit happened with my truck. So I called her back and said, you know what? Just move 20 over. I'll keep 30 in my emergency fund. And kind of go that route. Forgot what my fucking point was. My point is my truck's not paid off, but it doesn't really have to be paid off with the money I have coming in and then the money that I had sitting there. It's kind of almost the same thing. I've been running like I had a payment I've been saving $1,500 a week for at least a year. And then I was saving $1,100. No, probably saving $1,500 a week for 8 months. And I was saving $1,100 a week prior to that. So I've been saving some money. So I guess what my point is it kind of doesn't matter that there's a payment on whatever truck I'm going to be getting. I'm going to offset that with having the money up front in the bank, as well as getting a lease completion bonus down the road when the truck comes to term on that regular lease. All right, let me hold on a second. Got to get the trees trimmed around the house. Let's see. Friday, 11 to 1 p.m. for your estimate. That works. All right. So anyway, that's kind of what my thoughts were on that. What do I suggest? I don't know what that's in reference to right there. That's good. I'm on the hook for $9,600 from my lease. It's okay. I'll be back. Well, they should stop that. Hopefully they stop that lease. I might have had to turn that thing in just to stop the clock on it. I'm thinking about trying out a Pete. Hold on. John. I currently drive a Freightliner. Listen, there are certain things about Peterbilts that the average person may not like. So the reason it works for me is I have a Peterbilt dealership where I live at. It really works out for people if they don't have a drop yard or a terminal where they live at, because basically I'd say half the time I'm home, I'm putting the truck in the shop. That's like free storage right there, right? So a lot of stuff that you may need to get done on your truck, the terminal is not going to be able to get it done, or TA or Loves or something. If it's going to be under warranty, they're not going to be able to dick with it. So that's one of the downfalls. One of the things I like is I'd rather have somebody from Peterbilt that works on Peterbilt fucking with my shit every day than somebody that's dealing with the Volvo now and a Freightliner tomorrow. And so, but I think the fuel economy is probably, I think it's better. Mile per hour versus mile per hour. Once they came out with that new, with the upgrade, with the new Peterbilt in 22, the fuel economy on those has been through the roof. I had a 21, and the fuel economy on that was horrible. So you used to be able to have people say, "Well, good, because all your profits going out the tailpipe or whatever." That's not the case anymore. I wouldn't even say that the truck breaking down. Trucks just break down. Sometimes you get a good one, sometimes you get a bad one. Like Leah, she was in here earlier. She did a lease purchase, and her truck's been in the shop more, and she's been driving it. And that's been a Freightliner. Hold on. So sometimes the truck's just a truck. It's just luck of the draw. This particular truck that I had that just burned down, no fucking issues with it. Like, for the most part, for the whole time I had it. So it is easier to get it fixed. I would suggest that if you don't live in a place where you have a Peterbilt dealership, I wouldn't suggest anything. It's going to make it a little harder. But there's a certain level of, especially if I'm going to buy it, like there's a minimum standard of comfort that I'm going to have. And that's going to be the seats. Like, I mean, I upgraded my seat, but even in the base Peterbilts, it's the same seat. It's just not leather, and it may not have like an armrest. I forget what it is, but it's still the same basic seat. You don't see Peterbilts coming in on lease completions with the armrest all chewed up and the fabric in the center being all like, you just don't see it like that. So even if it costs more, there's just a minimum level of aesthetic beauty that I need to have, or that I'd like to have. So that's one of the reasons. And like I said, driving my trainer's truck, and that first day hitting that or not the first day, but the first day I hit a real pothole, thinking there was literally something wrong with that truck, that kind of got me thinking, yeah, I can't do this. But hey, he drove my Peterbilt for, when he came back, we were teaming together for 5 weeks or whatever it was. He went right back to a Freightliner. So everybody has their preferences. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that I'm right, or that, Freightliners are horrible or whatever. Because like I said, I could have swore he would have fucking drove my truck and been like, you know what? I've been missing this all my life. But he went right back to a Freightliner. So, do you think it's worth buying a truck through Prime? Yes. No. No. Yes. Okay. Okay. So, do I think it's worth buying a truck through Prime, save every penny, and just pay it off within a year and a half as soon as they allow you to? Okay. I don't know anything about taxes, right? But I think that you want to keep a payment on that for tax reasons on it. I could see if you wanted to save the money and just have it there, but I wouldn't necessarily suggest paying it off. Have it in a bank or whatever. But then I'm looking at that. You know what I'm saying? me having that kind of money, first of all, me having and still even having that amount of money, $30,000 in my emergency fund now. I'm going to drain that out a bit here coming up. But, I had a lot of fucking money in that emergency fund, and I just think about how many different ways that could have got snatched from me. And, but anyway, keep a payment on the truck. That's what I'm going to suggest. I'm going to say that if I would feel comfortable, like even with my own money sitting in my own bank accounts and wherever I have access to it, I still feel comfortable. I still don't feel comfortable unless I have a minimum of like, I'd say $10,000 in my emergency fund. And then I might continue putting money into it, at like 20 cents. I used to do 20 cents a mile when I was on a regular lease. So I might get above $10,000. And then now this isn't what I was doing before. I used to keep the money in there. This time I'm going to let it get 10,000, get up to 10,000 or keep it around 10,000, keep putting in 20 cents a mile. And then every couple of weeks, kick that back to me and kind of do it like that. What are you doing, Iris? Iris. Iris.
What?
What are you doing?
Good.
You want to say hi to somebody? Here, you got to come around here. You got to say hi.
But I don't.
Okay, then you should have told me that. All right. I tell you what'll wake him up real good. Where's them cars at? So I can smash all these cars.
Well, there's no car in your house.
I bet I have a car over here I could smash.
Well, you cannot smash it. You can only drive it and play it. That's fun. But don't smash it.
All right, so shit, if you see me up at Springfield, holler at your boy. Like I said, I'm not going to be driving around in a noticeable truck this time, but if you happen to see me inside, whatever. I'm not sure what I'm going to do as far as lodging goes. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm probably going to try to get the first day at the bunk room at the Millennium Building, and then after that, probably go to the Oasis, or I would say, man, I could do the Campus Inn, but last time I went to the Campus Inn, I woke up in the morning like somebody beat my ass with a bag of nickels. What caused the fire on the truck? I don't know. It was just a fucking fire. I mean, there's a bunch of different theories out there.
I look like Yogi.
Well, then you need to pay attention, dude. Because
I don't know. There's. I'm assuming it was electrical, and when I'm looking back, I look back at my other truck, and there was a time when it was never a fire, but there was like electrical issues that happened that. I'm not even going to say anything. There's just, it was electrical stuff. Now, it could have been anything. I don't know. Campus Inn is $50 a day. Yeah, but shit, those $30. Let's say I'm there an extra week. That's $200 more to stay at the Oasis, and I'll be, all that stuff is going to be a tax write-off. I mean, I'm going to be writing off so much shit on my taxes this year coming up. I've basically had to rebuy every fucking thing. Like, I've had to buy shit I had thought about. I forgot about. Like, you don't even think about. Like, who thinks about a back scratcher? Like, I was thinking about that earlier today. I was like, my back itches. And I was like, I don't even have my back scratcher in my truck anymore. I gotta get another refrigerator. I'm not gonna get like the one that goes in the truck. I'm gonna get one of them chest ones. I need a real backstretch. That looks like some shit that you draw Chinese lines in the little thing. Yeah, no, that ain't gonna do it. I need a real one.
Okay. It is a real one.
I always pay Campus in on my own. I don't really even have them do that kind of stuff. If for some reason, or not Campus in, but Oasis, whichever one. Since I have my own car out there, I can probably do something else. Because last time I was up there with my trainer, when when I had to get my truck in the shop, they had some kind of a boys conference. I don't know if it was a Mormon meeting or some Boy Scout shit or something up there. Anyway, I couldn't get a room at the Oasis, so I had to go to the Campus Inn. Man, that was the worst, like 2 or 3 days I ever spent sleeping. Now that I have my own car, I can go to the Hampton Inn or whatever that is down there. I can go to any of those like other ones that are halfway nice in that area. Did I ignore the engine temp? Usually get nope. Engine temp. I keep an eye on my engine temp. It was under like 210 the entire drive, going up and down the mountains and everything. So definitely wasn't the case on that. And it was running absolutely flawless until it wasn't. Now I will tell you the one thing that did happen beforehand was the first thing that happened was there was a what came up? There was the yellow check engine light that comes on, which comes on. Still, everything was fine. And then that's the next thing, probably within like 4 or 5 minutes. The next thing that came on was a low voltage thing, said it was like about 10.4. Then the next thing after that was transmission fault code. And it wasn't the normal transmission fault code. This one was like red with a big F in it. And then after that, the whole dash lit up. All right. Bernadette the trucker, am I going to put a logo on your new truck? Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, even if I was going to buy my next truck, it was just going to be plain white, no nothing on it. Sometimes that's a little bit more pressure than you want. You know what I mean? Not so much now, but like earlier on, just too much pressure. Not. So I'm going to be going incognito mode on this one. And, and I'm not saying, some of the pressure would be okay. Sometimes you got to do some crazy shit or, whatever it is. Or you got a hard spot or whatever. That's kind of stuff that you think about, like who's watching, who's filming, that kind of stuff. But it's, if you're on YouTube, not everybody's going to like you, right? So there always is a little bit more of a heightened sense of kind of what's going on. Like, did somebody pull my fifth wheel? Somebody like cut my tires? There's that kind of stuff that you kind of worry about a little bit more than if you just had a random truck that nobody knew about.
It's gotta connect.
Yeah, I'll show you what the new truck is. Oh man. Yeah, Burner, your truck does stick out, especially, you got, not that some other people I would say that probably need to tone it down a little bit is you got all these Indian guys out here driving. First of all, I'm not one of the people that doesn't like them or hates them or says that they're the cause of everything bad in trucking. But I do realize the environment I'm in. The last thing I'm gonna be doing is driving around if I'm some Indian dude with, man, take that shit back. All right, hold on a second. The last thing I want to be doing is driving around. God damn, that $49 that you just sent me, you shouldn't have done it, but it threw me off. Fuck, what was I talking about?
And then we'll watch Disney.
What do you want?
Damn, I completely forgot what I was talking about.
I want,
Gilbert, man, listen, I appreciate it, but that is definitely not anything that we encourage here. Fuck, what was I talking about?
Indian guys, you wouldn't be driving around.
Oh, yeah, the Indian dude's driving around with the guy with the machine gun on the side of the whip, on the door. He's got a hatchet or he's got whatever, or he's got the balls hanging around off of the mirrors, or he's got the big old, sun visor. Man, the last thing I want to do is stick out, especially when there's so much shit going on out there. Like, you're getting blamed for everything, whether it's right, wrong, indifferent, whatever. So, I mean, I guess, anyway, I've been driving my truck so long I can.
You said you wanted Prime. What do you want?
Since
I want you
a nail in my tire, crazy, you didn't feel the warning signs to pull over. There was nothing that was going on the truck. It was driving flawlessly.
So I want you to.
No lack of power, no nothing. As a matter of fact, I just gone up some hills. I was in fucking in Charleston, West Virginia. I'd already gone over a number of hills, all that kind of stuff. No issues whatsoever.
Dinosaurs.
And let's see. You know what? Next video, Gilbert, if you watch it, if you see another live, I will do a video with the. Okay, I don't know about you said single malt. That's going to be more of like a whiskey or a scotch. I'll get something and say it was your $49 that got me
Getting
that.
3 new scotches tomorrow.
I'm done. Yeah, scotch is a little bit much for me though. For lease purchase, how building up your truck works for the prime as far as the color of the exterior, huh? I don't know what you mean there, Afro. When I was looking into Prime 2017, they were pushing the lightweight trucks hard on company drivers. Don't see many of those out there now. I would have done a fucking lightweight truck. As a matter of fact, I would have done a lightweight truck. I knew somebody that had that route. As a matter of fact, I indirectly helped somebody get on that route. All they're doing on that route is driving from Reed City, Michigan, down to, for the most part, there's other stuff, but down to Murfreesboro, Tennessee. He was fucking making as much money as lease drivers without. I would have stayed on that. If I lived in that area, I would have got that lightweight and ran the shit out of that lane. I haven't seen that many lightweight trucks, but if you're running that lane, you should have a lightweight truck because a lot of those loads are super fucking heavy coming out of there. That's why, if you haven't noticed it or not, a lot of times if you pick up a load from Reed City and you're at the terminal, that shit's going to be overweight. Lightweight trucks is all they do in Pittston for company drivers. Don't go company with Prime. You know what? I would always encourage my students to upgrade in Springfield. I wouldn't take them. I think I did drop off one in Salt Lake City because he was going to take off some time and all this kind of stuff. So he wasn't going to be getting a truck right away. But I'd say if I'm going to upgrade, if I'm a trainer and I'm going to upgrade somebody, whether they plan on going company or lease, I'm going to encourage them to upgrade at Springfield. And shit, the truck is the worst part. I mean, or not the worst part. I could not go company with Prime or any of these other companies that are out there talking about 4 days off a month. You work 4 weeks and get 4 days off. Meanwhile, they're working 1 week, getting 2 days off, plus all these holidays and shit like that. Nope, no way I could do that. As a matter of fact, they were talking about that shit in the last meeting. Well, if you run at this capacity, you're going to be running like, you're going to be down like 60 days or 70 days, whatever it was, a year or something like that. I was like, man, how many days a year do you get off? You know what? So sometimes I just think, and somebody else told me this, I was talking to, I don't know if he's in here or not, but sometimes the stuff they say could be a little fucking insensitive. Like, I don't think they think some of this stuff through that they say sometimes.
With weekends, there's usually about 20 work days a month.
Yeah, so my wife said with weekends, if you average it out, it's usually like you work 20 work days a month. So trust me, all them in-house people are getting close to that, working kind of those hours too, which is fine, but don't talk about, I mean, I guess if people are bitching about money and all this kind of stuff, then you can throw availability in their face and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know how truck drivers got scammed into this 4 days off every month working. That's like ridiculous. All right, Pedro, why Springfield? My cousin went company with Prime. Their whole system is catered to lease drivers, 70%. All right, first of all, let's answer the first question. Why would I do it in Springfield? Because there's more truck selection in Springfield. That's the number one reason. Whether you go lease, company, whatever, you're going to have more of a truck selection in Springfield than you will at Salt Lake City or Pittston. 70% of the fleece is lease on a route. Prime, especially, is bad for a company driver. Yeah, I agree with that. That's why I would always upgrade in. If I'm going to work for Prime and I'm going to get a lease truck through Prime, I'm going to go through Springfield to get the damn truck. Let's not forget them talking to Andy's Frozen Custard to experience trucking. What? Let's not forget. Oh, let's not forget taking them to Andy's Frozen Custard to experience trucking. That's another one. I already told them. If they want to come out for a couple weeks on my truck, they keep wanting to push people training and how much money, extra money you could make. I'm sure there's somebody in-house at Prime that maybe hasn't handled their finances as well as maybe they should have. They could use an extra couple thousand, whatever they make a week, and just come out on my truck for like 10 days. And then we'll pay them their salary. Plus they get whatever they would have got. They might have to burn some vacation days. And then they can come out and they can make the same extra money that they were talking about a truck driver making. I think the only thing that frustrates me about that is there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody should train to pay it forward. If somebody trained me, I got to be responsible for at least training somebody else. But just acting like it's so easy and, it's just all about the money and all this kind of stuff. Like, first of all, think about my truck catching on fire. What? Now, I don't think there was any danger in what happened to me. But, a truck catching on fire with a student, either driving her in the sleeper berth or you in the sleeper berth, whatever. Or somebody just sent me a video of their trainer falling asleep and driving all into the median, and it looked like they were on a fucking bull at a cowboy bar. She got bumped all out of the bunk and everything, got a concussion. So it's not just as easy as, oh, you can make all this, like, it's not free. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's just free money. It's not just, teach somebody how to drive.
How many people want to teach their kids how to drive?
Maybe there's a dinosaur inside. You're really cute, but I need to
Not
find
five.
the
After one was enough.
That's what I need.
Right? Say one was enough.
They tried to send my cousin from Pittston to New Jersey, 1,100 miles or 100 miles for $50. He said risk isn't worth the reward. Listen, going to New Jersey itself isn't worth going there. Like, I really gotta be wanting to help or whatever for me to even go into New Jersey. It just doesn't make sense. They tried, I think they tried to stick it on me because I was new at the time. But I was sitting at the Piston terminal and I get a call from this fleet manager. This is years ago, like 6 years ago, something like that. And I had just upgraded to my first truck. I'd done a couple loads. I was sitting in Pittston. I forgot why. Oh, I dropped off a load. The trailer was fucked up, so I deadheaded from Connecticut to Pittston to get the trailer in the shop. Anyway, I'm sitting out there and I get a call. It's like midnight. Ask me if I want to take this load from. This is back when I was really stupid, but taking a load from off the yard in Pittston to go into I forget what city it was in New Jersey, but it was down in there, and that was all he told me. And I've always said, I'm not gonna look at the money, all that kind of stuff. I don't care, whatever. That's changed. I mean, a little bit, but I mean, I don't look at the money. I just wouldn't go to Jersey. So anyway, I say, okay, I'll do it. So they dispatch the load to me. It's not one drop, it's 2 drops. 2 days apart. And I call him up and I say, how much is this load paying? Because it never came across with the money on it. And he's like, now he's sounding like he's all frustrated and shit. I don't know. It's paying like, $2.80 a mile. And I was like, well, that's not that many miles. And plus I got to go over the George Washington Bridge. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to find parking. I was like, yeah, no, I don't. I said, take me off this load. He's like, well, you already committed to it. I was like, you know what? You already didn't tell me there was a second drop on this load. So I'm not interested in this load. So I forget where the second drop off was in New York, but it was somewhere like in Long Island or something. So anyway, I almost got on that one. And then I did got on a couple other loads because I'm thinking New York. If I got a load going to New York, I'm expecting it to be like Bronx, like the address is going to be 1362 West 46th Street, Queens, New York, or Bronx, New York, or whatever. So that's what I'm thinking. So I get some load I get 2 loads. I was too dumb to get it the first time. They sent me one load that was way down in Long Island again, and then another one that was in Queens, but it wasn't Queens. I forgot the name of the city. And I'm like all down there. I was like, fuck this. So the next time after that until today, every time I get a load, I Google that address to Jersey City just to see kind of where I'm at. And if I'm anywhere in that thing, I just turn it down. I don't care what it pays. I don't care none of that stuff. It's just automatic turn down. What's the process with Prime when ordering a truck as far as interior colors and the customization? Oh, that's just easy. You just go on the Success Leasing website. You can do it because you have to put in some information like truck number, name, all this kind of stuff. If you just put in just like false information, false truck number, you can work your way through that and you can kind of see what everything is. But it takes literally 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes. It takes 5 minutes to order a truck through Success Leasing on the app. They got all the colors there, all the options that you can add right there. You submit the order, then like the next day you'll get like a call or message from somebody saying we got your order, yada, yada, yada. Super easy, man. And then there's stuff you can order that's not even on the options. If you happen to know what those options are, they can kind of maybe order those different options as well. I don't know much about that because I haven't done it. Patterson, New Jersey. I don't remember if it was Patterson, New Jersey or not. All I know was like way down there, like near Newark and Bayonne and all that kind of shit. Now, I have gone to New Jersey and New York and all that stuff. When I'm training, I realize that's part of the package, or when I'm teaming, whatever. So I was, man, I don't know where, I forgot the name of the city I was at when I was just teaming with my former trainer. And I had never, man, I was somewhere in, was it Lakewood, New Jersey or something? I'd never seen so many people. Like, this whole entire community was like, had the little hats on, like the Jewish yarmulkes, and like everybody was wearing black, hat on like the outfits and everything. And I'm talking about hundreds of people. I think it was Lakewood or something, New Jersey. It was somewhere I wouldn't even have known. Getting to that place was like, sometimes I drive, and I'm sure a lot of you guys that have driven a while know some of these little dumb tricks of the trade stuff. Not even tricks, just stuff that you know. Like, I know if I'm going to New Jersey, if I delivered somewhere else, or I'm about to deliver and I know there's no weigh scales on the way in, I'm sliding my tandems all the way to the front. So I at least did that before I went in there. But I think back to like what I might have done when I was new, or what new drivers are doing. I could just see them getting in some crazy situations that I guess you got to go through it, because I didn't start sliding my tandems because I didn't make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? I slid my tandems because I was downtown somewhere, having to make some crazy turns because I tried to follow some dumbass notes in the Prime system that said, if you see a no truck sign, don't worry about it. Well, maybe I was a different no truck sign, but I'm like all downtown. I forget what city I was in. That might have been a broker load or something we did back then, because I've never been to that place since then. But it was Lakewood, that cake compound to the north. If there's a Lakewood, New Jersey, I think that's what it was. But we were picking up a high value load out there. I forgot what it was, but it was a high value load. And it was going to Allentown, Pennsylvania. The question is, why would Prime even send a rookie to New Jersey? Well, I wasn't a rookie at that time. I mean, this was just last summer. And I had my former trainer that was on my truck with me as well at that time. But I'm saying that where I delivered it when I was a rookie that one time was kind of down in that area. And I guess you got to have rookies taking that freight, because I ain't doing it no more. There's just not enough. There's no reason to do that. First of all, you're paying more on fuel. You're paying for parking more often. The tolls are going to kill you. And why am I going to deal with the headache? So going up there just makes no sense to me. So you need dumb people to go up there. So that's why new drivers come around, I guess. I don't know. All right, sup, Lyle. Romeo's Burning says, will you wait at the Oasis for a truck if there are only internationals available when you get there? Man, I'll lay down behind that damn gas station next to the Walmart over there and wait for a truck if I have to, if an international is the only thing to choose from. Because, or actually, I don't have to do that. I'll sleep in the back of my car if it worst came to worst. Because the rookies don't know better. Absolutely. Man, I went on so many crash tests, dummy loads when I was new, whether it was time or where it was picking up, where it was delivering. Just didn't know any better at the time. Like, what's that place in New Jersey? I'm sure somebody here knows this one. I don't know if it was called Fern Fresh or Wake Fern or whatever it is, but it's down there in New Jersey, and it's kind of like near some housing, but there's like a bar or some shit out there, and people are out there at the middle of the night standing outside the bar and everything. Like it's not even a bar. It looked like just a bunch of people that wanted to jump you or something. And then you have to park on the street and walk to the place, and then you check in, then you got to walk back to like it's ridiculous. Like every time I see that shit come up, it's like an automatic no-go. Oh, okay. Romeo's burning. Trying internationalists like you and the truck become one. Yeah, no, I don't know about that. And it's not, a lot of it isn't necessarily, a lot of this is just what people are saying. So I could get an international, I might love it, but I just don't see me doing it. All right, Gilbert, I got to remember that name because next time I go live before I leave the house, I got to make sure I do it before. It'll probably be Saturday or Sunday. This next, I will go out and buy a specific. What's that?
When are you leaving?
I don't know why.
What do you mean, why?
I plan on leaving on Friday. Tomorrow.
No.
Yes.
No.
I'm just joking. I'm probably gonna leave.
Did you just hear what he said?
I'm gonna leave on Tuesday, probably.
I was not being rude to Pop. He said, "Don't be rude to Pop."
I'm probably gonna leave on Tuesday. So I will buy a bottle of bourbon and dedicate it specifically to Gilbert.
That didn't help me. He said he was gonna leave tomorrow.
All right, let's see. So we already talked about Pedro saying rookies don't know no better. Man, I'm telling you, so many dumbass runs I did. Like, the only thing that saved me a few of these times was just, it was just fucking dumb luck. Like, I don't remember why I was having to deliver up in like South Dakota or North Dakota in the middle of the winter. And it was just dumb luck to save me. I mean, I did go through some stuff, but it was the storm that came through, and there was like a day or two of clear weather, and then there was a storm. Like I barely skipped in and out. That was dumb luck right there. Now I wouldn't even think about it. Oh man, I'm telling you. All right, Romeo's burning. This 27 Freightliner has me spoiled. Not gonna lie, it backs differently though. Still not used to it. All right, so what about it do you like? All right. Appreciate the honesty. No hippie, all right. I mean, the first thing, listen, just some of the aesthetics of a Peterbilt. Like, you can't sell a truck with at least a leather wrapped steering wheel. Like that steering wheel on a Freightliner is so slick. And a lot of people you've driven, if that's what you've driven, you don't even notice it. You got used to it, whatever. But those steering wheels to people that haven't driven a Freightliner are extremely slippery. And I don't want to put one of them big ass, like you see them people that got them steering wheels look like they're driving it with their hands. Like I don't want to put no extra shit on the steering wheel. Like at least give me a leather wrapped steering wheel. But yeah, youngins, if any of you guys are in here, man, listen. Get into some of these stock market ETFs. I'm telling you. I've been doing a lot of research on some of this stuff and look at like this market's about to go crazy potentially. But whether it is or isn't, just slow growth, all that kind of stuff. Get some money in the market. I love my Pete. All right. 30C Jerrigan, 9.3 to 9.5 miles per gallon every week, going 65 miles an hour. And I would say mine's like in that area or even better. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's at least in that area.
Was.
Yeah, it was in that area. Like once they changed that body style from the 21s to the 22s, that changed everything. The drive is smoother than the International. Plus, the stereo and seats are better. You must you must be talking about a Peterbilt, because them stereos in the Peterbilts, those are like regular car stereos. Them Freightliners, you turn on the stereo and it sounds like you're listening to that shit through some weak ass earbuds or something. All treble and no bass. Whoever did that shit in the Peterbilts had to be fucking like they got a speaker under the bunk like people used to have back in the trunk back in the days in a Peterbilt. All right, let's see. This is some information. The drive is smoother than the International, plus the stereo and seats are much better. The side compartment latch is handy and the bunk goes up and down, and there are many more spots for load locks in the back. Also, it hasn't tried to kill me every hard braking over everywhere. You must be talking about the Peterbilt because they got the stereo system under the bunk in the Peterbilt. I thought you could lift up the mattress in a Freightliner. I know you don't got that side door unless you order it. That's going to be something I'm going to miss. One thing I'm also going to miss, which I would have to order after the fact, which I'm not going to do, is that side box. I'm going to miss having a side box. Learn a lot from these ETF funds on the internet. Looks like the thing to be in. Well, the ETFs make it easier than just buying individual stocks. Like what I'm looking at putting some of this money into that's coming in is, they have ETFs that are just based on the entire stock market or the top 100 of this or high dividend funds or whatever. But they got some that are specifically based around this AI shit and then like the quantum computing type stuff. So I think those are going to have a long run. So the AI stuff is going to be like, NVIDIA, AMD. I was lucky to get in on a lot of that stuff before anybody was really talking about it. NVIDIA, AMD, Micro, MU, whatever that is. So it'll buy a lot of those. You'll buy a lot of that stuff in this one fund, so you don't have to go out and pick them individually. Plus, the fluctuation is going to be less. If you scream again, I'm crashing and smashing all your cars. So that's a good reason behind that. So I definitely would get into some of those.
Okay.
25 Pete. I have 10-inch subwoofer under the bunk. Sounds way better. I'm telling you, them actually the Peterbilt stereo system sounds like a fucking car. It doesn't sound like a truck. Come on now, soldier. We complaining about not having leather steering wheel? Absolutely, man. I've always been like that, Pedro. Shit, I've always said that there's a minimum level of like that I really want to kind of fuck with. Now, if there was no alternative to that, then I'll deal with it. But it's more, it's not just that. There's more than that, but that is one thing that I'm just like, that was so cheap. Why not just do it? And man, see some stuff you won't understand. Like go stand next to some. If you just only driven, because like I said, there are plenty of people that hate Peterbilts. As a matter of fact, I'd say at Prime, more people are out there talking shit about the Peterbilts. But listen, go stand next to somebody. For those of you guys that are driving Peterbilts, have never driven a Freightliner, or haven't driven one in a while, go stand next to somebody shutting their door on a Freightliner. and then go shut your door. You don't get none of that little tinny sound or none of that stuff. It's like, it's just more than that. And like I said, Peterbilts aren't for everybody. You know, people have questioned why people drive Peterbilts for years. I mean, when I'm cleaning the interior of my truck, sometimes that simulated wood grain interior, you know, makes me feel a little good about myself. I'm joking. All right, no AC is one thing, but leather steering wheel. Oh, that's another thing. If you're training somebody in a Peterbilt, it's better on your student having that air vent and everything that's already ducted in from. I don't know if they've changed that from when I went through, but they had to that was some aftermarket shit to get the ducts in and all that stuff up to the upper bunk and everything. The bed is bigger. Now you miss a lot. You do miss some storage. There are definitely reasons you don't want a Peterbilt. But I will definitely take a Freightliner before I take an International. Or I just need somebody that's watching this live that's about to quit Prime, that's about to turn in a Peterbilt, to go up there and meet me up there and don't turn it in until I'm up there. All right, I have sales rescheduling my 90 for Saturday from Sunday, keeping this load over 1K revenue per day. I'll never be in anything other than a Peterbilt. That's what I say. Those are my thoughts as well. But like I said, there's plenty of people that don't like the Peterbilts, and Bernard D. the trucker is one of them. But let me ask you this: how good is all that damn storage if it's bouncing out of the storage bins onto your lap when you hit a bump driving down the road? I ain't never had nothing bounce out, and I've never had anything bounce out of none of the storage bins, and we don't even have doors on some of our storage bins. I've never had anything bounce out of my storage areas when I'm driving a Peterbilt, but I have had that in a Freightliner. I've had damn near everything I've had in the storage thing bounce onto my lap in a Freightliner when I was in training. What about the Kenworth? I would take a Kenworth. Now, the thing about the Kenworth at Prime is basically a stripped down Peterbilt. So you don't get the navigation, you don't get the wood grain shit. You're missing a bunch of shit. I don't know if you have the side door on it or not. Whatever it is this less than the Peterbilt? And I know for a while some of them were coming in with Cummins engines. What's the fucking, like, if I'm just doing a regular lease on it, why do I give a fuck what the engine is, right? Like, if I was lease purchasing, okay, I could maybe say, you know what, I'd rather have a Cummins or whatever. But if I'm not, why do I care? Especially if it's going to get worse fuel economy. All right. Duke Dog, does Prime have any manual trucks? If you order one, you can do it, but you got to put down a non-refundable deposit on that bad boy. So you can get one. I wouldn't want one, but you can get one. I think there was only a few. I don't think anybody's ever gone and spent the extra money to get the manual transmission. I think those of you guys know Junior Honduras. He might have had one of the last manual transmissions there, and then there was another guy that had like a 17 Pete, maybe even a 16 Pete. When I kind of the first couple of years I was there before Prime was like, you can't keep the truck on the fleet for past this amount of time. I think he had a manual as well. Manual is nice until you get into traffic. Manual is nice until it's time to go pay for some fuel too. They did the numbers on that, and I talked to somebody that had a manual transmission in their truck before, and reluctantly got into a automatic automatic. So he always had Freightliners, but his last lease that was coming due was when they were transitioning from manual to automatic trucks, and he hated it. And then he just said, you know what? I don't even know what I was thinking. The fuel economy is better, and I don't have to think about anything in traffic. So he's changed this whole deal about that. You know what? It'd be interesting to see anybody who knows Junior Honduras. Ask him about it. What he thinks about automatic trucks. At this point, why would you even want a manual? Not your Prime offers them. They will offer them if you want to put that money up. Like I said, non-refundable security deposit. Interior of the 26 Pete is better than Kenworth. The Kenworths are just stripped down. Like I said, I'll get one if I have to, but they're not as nice. Now, I'm sure that if you went to a dealership, you could get some of that stuff, but you aren't getting all that in a Kenworth that Prime has coming in. Matter of fact, let me write this shit down before I forget about who bought this next Gilbert. All right, Gilbert. All right. If we're talking comfort and ease of driving, automatic is the way to go in gas mileage. I agree, and that was against everything that I'd always known growing up. You know, as far as cars went, stick shift cars always got better fuel economy, all that kind of stuff. It wasn't until I got into trucking that, you start hearing the opposite of that. All right, Burn D the trucker says he's talked to the Kenworth rep and more features are coming. That'd be good. I mean, I still like the way a Peterbilt looks as opposed to a Kenworth, but at that point, it's not that big of a deal. I did get a chance to get most of my taxes organized, so when I come back next time, boom, I'll be able to finish that up. I just need to stop into the tax people and get the things I need to get my taxes finished up, and to talk to them about some of the stuff I'm gonna be writing up on these taxes coming up.
Are you hungry? You got some cold water?
All right, well, shit, it looks like it might be about time for me to get off here. But Gilbert, if you're still on here, I will definitely be showcasing what your $49.99 went to. And I should almost be already packed up and within a couple days of leaving out. But I do appreciate you guys stopping by. No Hippie Trucking Transportation. As always, comment, subscribe. I'm out.